So guys, just a quick note on this one. This is going to be my third take on this movie. Not my third take as an opinion. My opinion is the same. My third take on trying to record a review for this movie, which is why you're getting it Friday afternoon instead of Friday morning. I actually saw this on Thursday. And I've been trying to get this up, but the sound just won't mix right. So I've had to re-record this audio, because this is one of these freestyle ones, which we've had to do for scheduling and whatnot. So, and each time, at least in my opinion, the takes, the performance and whatnot has been not quite as good, so I apologize for that. But I also know that people don't necessarily want to listen to bad audio, so I hope that this third time through, the audio actually works out. I think that we finally have our connections all set. I hope. Related. I know that not everyone loves the freestyle type reviews. I think sometimes they work, sometimes not quite as well. One of the reasons that we've been doing that has been to get some workload off of other projects. For those of you who like the more scripted, more cinematic, more thorough videos, we finally got up something that has been being worked on in the in-betweens, in the free time, between other gigs, between other projects. A new episode of This Movie Exists that has been worked on for about 5 or 6 months. About westerns, history, pop culture. That episode is scripted, that episode is thorough, that episode is cinematic, that episode is very personal to me, to the show, to the channel. And that episode, in my opinion, and just practically, factually, really could use more eyeballs on it than the algorithm has given it. So if you can, give that one a look, please. If you have not already, share it with your friends, family, loved ones, etc. We're very proud of it, and it could really use some more visibility. Anyway, 28 years later, The Bone Temple. Much more of a direct sequel than I think a lot of people may have thought it would be, considering how much of a jarring tonal shift the previous movie ends on, but it very much is a direct narrative sequel to the previous movie, continues right off. Last one ends, this one basically begins. So in case you forgot where we were, a young boy named Spike, who is living in the post-apocalyptic, zombie-apocalyptic, sealed-off areas of Great Britain, which is filled up with zombie rage virus-infected mutants. He has fled his isolationist island community for the mainland, more or less. The mainland, at least, of the bigger island of the UK. He has been set upon by a youth gang that is older teenagers, led by a guy named Jimmy, kind of a satanic cult thing going on. Their satanic cult mythology is fake Satanism mixed with British children's television mythology bullshit by their charismatic leader, who is supposed to be the young kid that survived the initial outbreak as seen at the beginning of the first movie. And if you thought our first of our multiple plot swerves here, that Spike, having done his boy becomes a man by rejecting his kind of a douchebag father from the first movie, that he'll be able to handle himself now against any threat. Nah, he's completely out of his depth already. Infected are one thing, teenagers who've been fighting the infected their whole lives and can definitely kick your ass are another. He is definitely screwed and will now just have to survive this whole new threat all over again. Meanwhile, Ray Feinnes, as the doctor who built the bone temple of the title, which is just these big stacks of bones and an ossuary, he calls it, to memorialize the dead, is still building up his bone stuff and trying to also study and maybe cure the infected. That's going in a whole other direction, which I will not spoil, because it's interesting to see Ray Feinnes just do weird, crazy, kind of touched in the head, but still the closest thing we have to a positive adult person in the movie Ray Feinnes stuff. He is great in this. He was good in the last one. He is great in this, just being a quiet, or not often so quiet, version of just a weird guy riding out the apocalypse, trying to do good and still being closest thing to a good guy compared to all of these other very odd guys around him. It's tough to not give away all the stuff he does in this movie and still describe that he just rules in this. Our running metaphor here, that this is all a zombie metaphor. Yes, every zombie movie is a metaphor. Yes, man is the real monster. They're doing that, but they're doing a non-annoying version of it. What seems like the most obvious hit you over the head zombie as metaphor for modern politics, and zombie as metaphor, man is the real monster stuff, and somehow not be fucking annoying about it in these. Maybe it's that they're English. Maybe it's just the accent. I don't know. I feel like how Walking Dead got so annoying so quick, and that this manages to elide all of it. But we're basically doing post-War on Terror, post-Brexit United Kingdom, where this young kid has been raised in an isolationist community in the first movie, realizing, okay, that didn't work. You've got to get off your island and get to the mainland and escape that thing. You know, your dad turned out to be a douchebag. You do not want to be raised in macho, it's bow and arrows in this world, but, sort of a gun culture. Basically, you need to get out and be away from that and learn that the wider world has stuff to offer. That's the message of the last movie. This movie has flipped it to, okay, you've escaped that bad male influence. Now the new bad male role model influence is a youth gang that themes itself after Jimmy Savile era British television. That's the not subtle metaphor. The main guy has like the, greasy long white hair, and he builds his fake religion half around Satanism and half around Teletubbies references, which is just bizarre. So first movie, get away from your abusive dad. This movie, do not replace your abusive dad with an abusive youth gang. So, obvious, hit you over the head metaphor, but it works, and it carries. This main kid playing Spike is great. He's got big sad eyes and British stiff upper left face. Camera constantly. He's not our main character, but he is our POV character. The main characters this time is really a split in the dual narrative between what Jimmy is getting up to and what Ray Fiennes is getting up to. But we constantly keep zipping in on this poor kid who is just stuck in this awful situation, and just constantly having to realize that even though there are grown-ups all around him, none of the grown-ups are really in control of the situation or of their own minds. No one is going to save him, and the adults are even dumber than children, and that no one's there. There's a great line about, God or the devil that Ray Fiennes has later in the movie. I can't really give away the context about how, no, nobody is. That there's no bigger power here coming to save us or help us. We are all on our own, basically, and that is the real hope and the real horror that this kid is confronting, which is the best thing for him, but also the worst thing. And that's kind of the running theme here of him constantly having to just run up to every adult, every slightly older kid that he runs into, whether friend or enemy, and having to realize that they are not adults or gods, that he is just completely at the mercy of everything else around him. He is honestly probably safer just wandering the woods filled with monsters than he is around other larger, not necessarily even intellectually older, just taller people. The adults are just different versions of large children, and that's horrifying, but it also occasionally means he's not in as much danger as he may believe himself to be, if that makes sense. In the context of the movie, it does. And what's truly fascinating is when I realized, first off, that, oh wow, we really are going to be stuck with this Jimmy for a while. I got a little bit worried about the movie. Not that it's not well made and that Jimmy isn't a really compelling character, but it's clear right away that this is just the Joker again. And I'm so tired of the Joker. I'm so fucking tired of Jokers in movies. Whether Dark Knight Joker or Jared Leto Joker, he's much more Jared Leto Joker, but they're all the Joker. They're all the bastard sons of Tyler Durden, the compelling, charismatic bullshit slinger that rallies people around them with crazy cult slogans and pop references and appeals to machismo and these kind of guys. And the exact wrong type of guy will worship it while not realizing that it's the villain, and etc., etc. You all know the drill. And movies love this kind of character. Audiences love this kind of character. I often enjoy this kind of character while also getting sick of having to put up with this kind of character, because sometimes the movie forgets to hate them. But a swerve here, the second of multiple kind of plot and narrative swerves of this movie, is that the movie realizes right away that Jimmy is a moron, and also the other characters in the movie and the movie itself groks that Jimmy is a moron. And that's kind of the theme of it, is that even Jimmy knows that Jimmy is dumb. And that is a fascinating track to take with it because, and again, I don't want to give away the plot of the film or where the third act is going, really even where the second act is going. once you catch the vibe of this, that we're doing a 2-track narrative where this is what Jimmy and his gang are doing, this is what Ray Feinnes is doing. Okay, so this guy is basically pretending to be a Satanist, and he's using that kind of self-created mythos to run his gang, and that somewhere out there on this same island there's this bone temple thing, and what a powerful symbol would that be if this guy finds out about it, and what someone like that could do with this. Okay, but this guy is much too stupid to actually know what to do with that. So what if someone like that runs into a situation like that, if that kind of opportunity actually falls into their lap? That's more interesting. And that's sort of what this is asking, while also just keeping it to the themes of these movies, which is nothing ever goes according to plan. These movies are entirely about plans not working out, and grown-ups not knowing what to do, and this poor kid always having to just deal with the fallout of everyone else's bullshit. And that's really all I want to say about the events of it, other than it keeps you guessing, it keeps you on your toes. The director here was Nia DaCosta, also made The Marvels. I think a lot of people probably know this and saying, oh, this is her apology for The Marvels. Fuck off. That movie was fine. She's made plenty of other very cool genre films. This is a real showcase for talent. It looks great. I wouldn't want to parse whether or not this is better than the previous movie or not. I think this is more the type of movie a lot of people wanted out of the last movie. It's more propulsive. There's more constant horror, constant action stuff. It's much more of a tense movie than a mood piece. The stuff Ray Fiennes is doing is more... I won't say like dark whimsical, but it's definitely weird and different. It does seem to have another, hey, we could go somewhere else with this in another movie sting on it, which is very cool. I call this an 8 out of 10. I was very excited by it. Check out The Bone Temple, yeah.